If he's fully healthy, pain-free,
we'll see.
if he takes him?
Yeah, we'll see.
We have to put him through pregame.
It's a good question. Look, it happened to Tennessee, and he's gradually gotten better each week. It takes a minute, and last week when that topic was brought up, I just knew it wouldn't be right to put him back there in the shape his foot was in at that time. It's gotten better. I'm going to see how tomorrow goes. We got a lot of time before we play, so we'll kind of go from there.
Didn't Drew deal with something similar?
He did. His was fully torn, and just gradually comes back. Sometimes it's an area that there's not a lot of blood flow to that area, so sometimes you do some things that can bring it back quicker. I had the same thing in training camp, doing some silly thing on the field, and it took me, for me now, again, someone in their 50s, it was like forever, it felt like. But I know that at that time, Bo said, we're going to dry needle it. And Drew said, he goes, hey, it really helps, he said, but it'll be the most painful thing you ever experienced. And I'm like, So I go into the training room, and there's that towel rolled up. You usually lean back and put your head on. And I said, Bo, all good? He said, yeah, you're going to need the towel. And I'm like, he goes, no, you're going to need the towel to bite. I said, what? And so I put the towel in my mouth, and they proceeded to put, 5 needles that go into the heel, basically to the bone. And I needed the towel. It was so that was the worst news. The news that got worse after that was you needed to repeat it 2 or 3 times, and I just remember just like dreading. But what that did was, create a little bit more trauma to that area. It brings blood flow. It helped me a lot. I don't think he's had to do that. He's in a little bit better shape than I am.
Well, that just made me cringe. But didn't Jimmy and Graham deal with the same thing, but it was partially torn, so it was just extremely painful?
Yeah. You know what? It's been a minute.
Like 8 years.
Yeah, but I'm not. I wouldn't at all doubt it. It's just one that can be slow, based on the severity of the tear.
What year was that for you?
Oh gosh. We went to Atlanta and won on, was it Thanksgiving?
Yeah, Thanksgiving was
With all the
19.
sacks.
Thanksgiving was 19.
Yeah, it was that year, because I can recall after the game getting another dose. So it was 19, training camp. So it just gives you an idea of, look, it happened for me in training camp, so then that's Thanksgiving. Fortunately, these guys are going to recover quicker than that.
Was the second time just as bad?
Every one of them was the exact same. The dry needling? Yeah, there was no that every once in a while one of the needles would go in, you wouldn't feel it, that was good, but then the others were, you needed the towel each time.
Sean, we've talked to you a lot about how much Bill Parcells has always meant to you, but especially how important was his counsel and Jerry Jones' counsel when you were a young coach, and I know you were weighing the Raiders possibility and the
yeah, look, a lot went on that first year. It was the 03 season. We won 10 games, went to the playoffs, and that opportunity came up. And Bill was really good. He was the head coach, but towards the end there, he stepped away and really just talked about the situations, the scenarios. Jerry the same way. And look, you never know when you're young and you're getting that first opportunity. You're going 100 miles an hour, and there's only 32 of them. So it ended up being a good decision.
And obviously, you were ready to move on when you interviewed for the Saints and the Packers.
So that came in 06. It was Green Bay, New Orleans, and Buffalo, and I went to Green Bay first, and then came here the next week, and I think it was a week after that.
Did you consider at all at that time, though, sort of being the heir apparent to Bill and staying, knowing he was kind of here at that point?
Look, there was no time frame, and so look, some of you guys, Jeff, Tripp, you guys have been here. I don't know. I mean, was it like 8 years finally where he's not going to the Cowboys, or year 9? Is he not going? Is he? You know. In other words, I understand it, but I don't know when that stopped.
Yeah.
You know, but eventually it just went away. I think at that time, you know, Bill was going well, and Zim was still there. Mike was going to eventually, you know, move on, and you know, when all of a sudden there's 3 jobs there, you're potentially involved. It's too hard to just, I think, and I think Bill and Jerry were helpful during that stretch relative to looking at the opportunities and those type of things.
And they were obviously pretty honest with you. They weren't trying to.
Yeah, look, I went to Green Bay first, and I visited with Mickey down in San Antonio first, really, just to meet him. It was the night that Texas beat USC. And the reason I remember it is after visiting with Mickey in San Antonio, I flew back and went back to the Cowboys offices to prep for the Packer interview, because the next day I was going to Green Bay. So I think the national championship game was on a Monday, and I think I flew to Wisconsin on a Tuesday, back to New Orleans on a Wednesday, and then the Saints basically had left San Antonio and had gotten back to here, and I came in here, it was like their second day. You know, that they were back, and look, there were sheets and I mean, you know, that was the progression. I can remember that well.
When your team's going through a stretch like this, do you ever, I know you're kind of a teacher first and foremost, but is there ever a point where you get pissed off? I mean, is that ever an effective coaching strategy?
Yeah, look, the most important thing is for any team is, you know, is each week there's hope, and and here's how. You know, here's how we win this game, and then, you know, is it difficult? Yeah. You know, the hardest thing is when you put so much time into a week and then you don't finish with the result you're looking for. Man, you gotta buck up again, and so there's a toughness element that's required, and you know, when you play in this league and you coach in this league long enough, you know that there's going to be, during games, momentum swings, and the same thing happens. You can pick a season, even any one of the last 4 seasons, there's stretches where you have you got to get past some adversity, and that's kind of where we're at now. And so there's no magical answer coming in the door. It's deep down and from within, and it's the details. And yeah, you have all those emotions, though. You know, sometimes it's you know where you're picking everyone up. Sometimes, you know, you're calling players out or yourself out, that kind of thing.
So you just weigh it by instinct? How do you know?
Yeah, I think your gut. I mean, I think, number one, it can't be contrived, or it's got to be, you know, it's got to be your gut and how you feel.
I don't know how familiar you are with Sam Mills, but he's going into the ring.
Yeah, listen, I'm super excited, and I say that because periodically Jim Mora Sr. will be around at practice and training camp a lot of times, and you know, we've had conversations, and I would ask him, hey, you know, as you walk around the building, or is there anyone we're missing that's not represented? And I can remember 2 years ago at training camp, we were just discussing his teams, and he was discussing his defense, and all he talked about was how great a player Sam Mills was. You know, in other words, and how smart he was. And he had him obviously in Philadelphia, and he talked about how significant he was to what they did defensively. And I know he had a chance to coach in Carolina, but I think Mickey and I and Mrs. B and, you know, the powers to be knew that this this was coming, this day was coming, yeah, I think that I'm super excited to see that happen. And I just know from talking with Jim, you know, how much he felt, not just, I mean, I'm talking about as a talented player, you know, and so he belongs in there. And we, you know, when we started this, we wanted to make it like, if you had to spend a half an hour discussing it, it's probably not, you know, and I'm sure there'll be some future tough decisions. But he was one that I don't think anyone had to spend a half an hour discussing. You know, it was, and then it was just like, all right, what year? You know, just scheduling.
So when you guys are going against a team that has a COVID situation, how do you guys monitor that? And is there anything that could happen that would affect your plan? Like if a guy went out?
No, honestly, if you want to know the truth, it's just like monitoring the injury report, you know. That's, I mean, that's you know, you're looking at, hey, how has it impacted the roster more than the coaches, because you really can't control that. That doesn't impact anything you're doing, but you pay attention to it, no different than the injury report.
Have you heard anything back from the league about Deontay Harris's appeal?
No, we haven't. You guys will probably hear when I hear, but we have not. All right, thanks.
all good. It's all good.
How tough was it last week for you sitting out? Not something you usually do.
Yeah, I think it's extremely difficult. I did everything I could to, get myself prepared. I felt like I was in a position where I was close to being able to play, but she wanted me to have a little bit more time to recover on the short week. So I feel good, and obviously when you want to help your team, it sucks to be able to have to watch from the sidelines, and especially when you want to be able to help and you feel like you're capable of being able to help and make a difference. So it sucks being able to sit, it sucks having to sit out and watch, but I'm healthy, I feel good, and ready to go this week.
Yeah, was it like a game time decision? Like how close do you think that you were to be able to?
Yeah, I feel like I was good to good to go. But it was a short week, short turnaround, and I think the bigger picture, just being able to go the whole season and not have something just continuously nag me, for the rest of the season. So I'm thankful that we have a great training staff and a good coaching staff who have my best interests in heart. So I'm thankful for them.
As soon as we talk about the 18 games, you have to just...
Yeah, bruh. Yes, bruh. We just literally talked about it. I was like, no, got to stay healthy, God willing, and boom. So now 17 games like the rest of everybody. Not special.
Do you feel a different energy maybe here? You're healthy, Alvin's healthy, Ramczyk, Taysom. Does it feel different this week? The guys seem to have like a little bit extra confidence knowing that help is on the way?
Man, I think every single person on our team, we're just confident in each other. We're confident in, our guys and what we have to do out there and compete. And obviously when you have your guys getting healthy and being back on the field, I think that just brings, a little more urgency, a little bit more excitement. I'm not saying that you're less excited when they're not there, but, when you get your guys healthy and you get your guys back on the field and guys are getting going, I think that makes everybody more excited, So it's good to have guys getting healthy, turning the corner, because we need all hands on deck.
So you're good, like, if you had to carry the full load, like, you're...
Yeah, I'm good. Like I said, I always prepare, always work, always prepare to be able to, carry the load, whatever's asked of me, and confident that I can do that if called upon.
How do you think your history here affects your perspective of the mid-season adversity that's happening now? Like, imagine if you had never played here before and didn't know anybody and showed up and they lost 4 games in a row. You might have a different view of things. But
yeah, I just know what this culture and what this organization, what this team is built on. It's built on tough guys who, pride themselves in, preparing and playing to their best ability to help the team, not being selfish. And I think when you have a selfless team, a team that believes in each other from top to bottom, the culture of this team, fighters, overcoming adversity, next man up attitude, next man up mentality, and there's no excuses. You have to be able to put your best foot forward regardless of the circumstances, and I think that's, what gives me courage and confidence with our team going forward.
You seem like a guy who always kind of embraces the physicality of the game. Are you kind of excited if Taysom's healthy enough to play to see a quarterback who embraces that kind of physicality?
I mean, energy, physicality, and execution, that's huge. And those are 3 factors of the game that never change. You have to have energy, you have to have physicality, and you have to be able to execute. And, Taysom's a great player, man, and he, brings a different dynamic to the game with his ability to throw, his ability to run. Just a special athlete, a good quarterback. And obviously, if he's ready to play, I think we're all excited about that. We're excited about whoever we got to line up with. And that's what we do, man. Whoever's available, whoever is ready to roll, that's who we roll with, and that's who we go fight with, and that's who we try to get a win with.
Mark, have you been on a team before that maybe mid-season went through something and then rallied and got back on a roll? We see that in the league all the time, where it's kind of ebbs and flows of the season.
Yeah, I think there's a number of teams, where you might go on a little skid, 3 games, 2 games, 4 games, but you just have to try to do your best to stop it, not live in the past, but focus on the next game, focus on the next opponent, and go out there and try to get that one. You got to get 1 before you can get 2, before you can get 3. So Got to focus on this game, this team, this game plan, and we just all have to just go out there, have confidence in each other, have to play to the best of your ability. You never know what game, you never know what play throughout the game is going to make the difference of the game. There's always a handful of plays that make the difference. So every single person has to be able to be on point every single play, every single snap, execute at a high level, because you never know when your play is going to make the difference in the game. So, we just got to stay focused, got to stay encouraging each other, got to stay believing in one another, and get this thing going on the right page.
Wild ending to Iron Bowl.
Yeah, but Roll Tide, you know what I mean? Let's play like crap, but we got it.
Model.